This is a Wander Well Living podcast where we explore the highs and lows of life and the intricate spaces in between. I'm your host, Shaka Smith, and in that vein, we talk to inspiring individuals about their path through life's complexities. Today, we have 73 and blessed vegan fitness dynamo, Chef Babette. Welcome to the show. So good to see you. We have so much to talk about.
We do?
A life well lived, yes. So much to learn today. I'm so excited. And, I've been diving deep into your story and your background. And I realized, I said to my friend earlier, I said, I really only know about the last 20 years of what Chef Babette's done. And I want to know the entire story, the full, how did we get to your moment? How did we get to that daily fitness routine that we do today?
Wow. We met Babette Davis, my current husband. Mm-hmm. But I had three before him. Well, it was 3 husbands, maybe some boyfriends. But, when I met him, my whole world changed, actually. So now, where are you trying to go? Do you want to go, way back?
I want to go way back because what I discovered was yours was a story of survival. And, it wasn't just someone who had been fit and just wanted to carry that. This was something you had to discover on your own through pain, sexual abuse, domestic violence, addiction. Ooh. So it was a long road to get here, and I wanted to kind of cover how did we get here, where did it start?
I had some real challenges, but the human journey, that's kind of what we do as we go through this thing called life. It's not always just smooth sailing. But had I not experienced everything that I experienced, I have no regrets. Had I not experienced everything, I wouldn't be here being who I am today, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
At 5 years old, and the reason I know I was 5 years old is because my sister, my younger sister, I only had one sister, was a baby in the crib in my mother's bedroom when this strange person comes up to my bedroom. I'm 5. And I don't know if this person was an adult.
A little bit of time for Q&A.
Years old, but it was a man. And he bothered me. He did whatever it was he had to do. And I found out it was the babysitter's son. And I can remember after he left out of my room, we both were downstairs, and I was standing on one side of his mother, and he was standing on the other side, and nobody said a word. She was doing laundry, and back in the day, telling my age, you had to wring the clothes out. They had these little wringers, and you'd stick them between these two little, and nobody said a word, and I never told anyone. That was Chef Chris Tucker. He was ever forgot it at 5 years old. Now, there's a lot on this journey that I do not remember. But that was very, very strange. My mother married some years later. She married an Italian person, and it just turned out that he was a fondler. And I was the kid he chose to bother. And I remember that it stopped. And I never really knew why it stopped, and I never told my mother what was going on either. And when I became an adult and married my first husband, I can remember my mother complaining about my first husband, and I said to her, he may not endorse his paychecks and come in and hand them to me, like your husband does, but there are some things that your husband has done to me that he would never do. My husband would never do. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I went on to tell her how he bothered me for so long as a child. And she was so, I could tell she was so in shock. She said, I saw him do something to you inappropriately, and I said to him, if I'm not enough for you, you should move on. That's why it stopped. Because she saw that, and she stopped it, but I didn't know that. I had a pretty challenging life because I was so ignorant about so many things, you know. I was sickly as a kid. My mother, she was what we used to call a cook, and she cooked everything from the rooter to the tooter. I mean, I ate chitlins, hog intestines, if you will, and she used a lot of sugar in everything. So I had a high addiction to sugar. I was allergic to all dairy. I suffered with really bad earaches as a child, missed a lot of school. I had eczema, asthma.
What was keeping you going through all of this?
Just
you're enduring this and you're living this.
I'm just a little kid, and that's life. I mean, you know, kids don't really understand why all of this stuff is going on. I'm just alive, and it's just going on. And wow, the people that came into my life and the decisions that I'd make without giving any thought to the outcome or the consequence of such decisions. I was with my high school sweetheart, my first husband, my daughter's father. I was with him for quite a number of years. He was a heroin addict. And wow, then after him, I met a person that was, he was a drug dealer. He pushed cocaine. And that was when I was introduced to crack cocaine. I was a flight attendant at the time. No, I didn't fly high, but as soon as I got off of them 4-day trips, I was good to go. That was a very debilitating time in my life. Any type of addiction like that can be extremely debilitating.
And that was coping from, you think, the trauma, or was that just the symptom of being in that relationship?
No, it was just a human experiencing the human journey. I had a sister that was addicted to heroin and also cocaine, and believe it or not, she's the one that introduced me to crack. This person was selling powdered cocaine, and it was an opportunity. I got my first Cadillac. I had a brand new apartment. You know, there was always money flowing. It was pretty simple. But he was also abusive. He's the person that cold cocked me. I used to watch cartoons, and you know, when a character would get knocked out, and you saw all the butterflies and the stars, and well, when he knocked me out, trust, I think I saw all of that. He's also the person that picked me up and body slammed me, put my head through a wall. Just really, really cruel. And smoking crack and going through all of that, eventually I left my job and moved. I was living in Colorado at the time. I left my job and moved back to Los Angeles, and met a new person. And I did all this very quickly.
Yeah, how did you get out of...
I would never know anybody. All you had to do was just be nice to me, and I would be like, want to hook up? You know, it was just... that's the ignorance. That's going through this thing called life and really not grown up yet. You know?
Yeah. And how did you get out of that Colorado? How did you break the addiction? How did you get out of that relationship?
Well, with the guy that was just really whooping on me, I finally left that. Met another person and immediately hooked up with them. I had a hernia, that's what it was. And I left the airline, so I didn't have any insurance, and I needed to get this thing taken care of. And he had insurance, so he said, well, I'll marry you and put you on my insurance. We were only married for 6 months. But we decided that we would form cocaine rocks and sell them for a pusher. We would just make the rocks and sell them for the pusher, and that's how we would make our living. You talk about ignorant. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and you have someone that.
And I had a daughter by then. I had a daughter that was in junior high school.
Yeah, but that's what you knew. That's what was around. Yeah.
When you think back about all that, it's like it's really incredible. But the human experience is just such an amazing gift. And I give thanks for every single step I've taken on this journey. I give thanks.
And you had a mindset shift that kind of threw you out of addiction.
Well, what happened was I was at my mother's house where I grew up, and the bedroom was empty. Didn't have a lot of furniture in there, and I had been sitting on the floor all day smoking crack. And then there was a piggy bank in that room. So I started going through the piggy bank. Now I got the crack because, of course, this guy I was with, we were cooking the crack cocaine, and any little pieces that weren't perfect, I would take them. That was just the little leftover stuff. But I had smoked all that. And because the addiction of crack, smoking that stuff, was so debilitating, you were just kind of stupid after you. I'm sorry, I'm using the term stupid, but I mean that. So I'm going through this piggy bank, and out of nowhere, I hear, so that's who you are now. That's what you do now. You go through piggy banks. That was the last day I ever did that. I was done. That voice, I get chills when I think about it right now. That voice, that's who you are.
And you had never heard it before?
Had never heard it before.
And have you heard it since?
Never heard it since.
Wow.
I got off, and I never looked back.
Wow.
But I also left that particular husband that was cooking rocks and met up with husband number 3. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Life, we gotta live.
And believe it or not, this guy came into my life and helped level it out. What he should have been doing, he should have been taking care of his teenage son who had just left his mother's house. That's what this guy should have been doing. But he embraced myself and my daughter, and he took us into his home. He married me. I got a job with the airlines through his cousin. And my life began to change. I started going to a metaphysical church. And at the time, the minister of that church was Reverend Dr. O.C. Smith. I don't know, you guys are so young, but he used to be a singer. And O.C., as soon as I sat and listened to him, he wasn't screaming at me. He wasn't talking about hell and damnation. Basically, he talked about the power of love. And I began to get it. And so I was with this person for quite a number of years, but I really wasn't quite ready for him either. He gave me so much. I embrace him and I love him for that. He's no longer here, but he just got my daughter in a private school and bought me my first house and, you know.
And what are you thinking at this time as these things are coming together, your relationship to food and your health, your physical health being a reflection of spiritual health?
Well, you know, I never really thought, I was always miserable when I ate. I always had bad indigestion. I didn't know anything about how I was supposed to nourish myself, or most of us don't. I mean, when you're bloated and you're belching and you got gas and you can't, that's because you're doing something wrong. Well, I decided I didn't want to be with this guy anymore, and when I told him that, believe it or not, I told him one day, the next day he had a U-Haul truck. He gathered all of his belongings, and he said goodbye to me. Wow. And left me with the house and all that stuff. And I met my current husband. And the first thing he did, the first date, he took me to Griffith Park. And he ran the whole hill past the Hollywood sign, not past the Hollywood sign, past the observatory. He ran it backwards. I was struggling walking. And I was like, man, I'm embarrassed. One of these days, I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to be able to maybe stay at a walker's pace, but in a running mode. I'm going to do this.
But the fact that you wanted to come back
I was so impressed. He took me to his home and he fed me the first vegan meal.
Wow.
It was properly combined, so I didn't have belches and I wasn't feeling all bloated and strange like I normally do.
And it was delicious, I'm assuming.
It was wonderful. And he gave me 3 books. I say 3 because one was Fit for Life by Harvey and Marilyn Diamond, but it was 2 volumes. And I'm thinking to myself, I ain't read no books in so long, Lord. I gotta read to date you.
You gotta work out homework.
I gotta work out and homework. But the other book was The Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret. I read those books, and I read them quickly. And Fit for Life explained to me why I was having such a hard time digesting food. I didn't know how to combine it. I don't know what made us put both potato salad in as proper food combining. Yeah. I didn't know that. I was not eating beef or pork at the time, but I was eating everything else. And I decided pretty much overnight to transition.
Wow. You make these decisions, you make them quick. Once you know.
Once I get it.
Yeah.
You know? And even if I didn't get it, I would. But yeah, once I get it, yeah. And Ron and I have been together. I met him in 1990. We married in 1992. He was about to turn 42, and I was going to turn 40. Now he's about to turn 76, wow. And I'm about to turn 74. So.
And you made this decision together to open this restaurant.
And we did, because we thought, when we got married, I can remember saying to him, well, should we have chicken at the reception? He said, do we eat chicken? I said, no. He goes, no. They're going to eat what we eat. Yeah. And I noticed that everybody at the reception totally loved what we gave them.
Yeah.
And so as we began to play with food and make sure that it was all, and he's a stickler on organic. Oh my God, I can remember one time, well, I'll tell you that in a minute. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know, what'd you ask me?
You made the decision to open the restaurant, but...
Oh yeah, okay.
And in a recession, too.
Oh yeah, it was 2008 when we decided to open the restaurant. But we had the building. The building was just like gifted to us. We're walking down the streets, getting ready to go to Jamaica, because I was flying then. And whenever we wanted to go hang out someplace, we'd go to Jamaica. Ocho Rios? No, it wasn't Ocho Rios. It was Negril.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was Negril. And so we were walking down this Market Street, and the doors to the restaurant was open. And we went inside, and there was a built-in, like a table like that, but it was the same color as my business card. So it was a freaky omen to me. It was like, this is a restaurant. Maybe we should just do a restaurant. And we asked the owner, and he said, no, I'm going to turn this into a Nike Kids store. Oh. But we left our card, and when we got back from Jamaica, he had left us about 5-6 messages. Come back, talk to me. And this guy literally gave us this place for first and last month's rent and a little security deposit. Wow. And it took us 4 years. We didn't have no money, but it took us 4 years to do it up and open Stuff I Eat. And we opened 2008, right at the height of the recession.
Wow. So that took faith on so many levels.
Didn't it?
To serve food that you weren't sure the community would just adopt and love, and and of course during the recession.
I know.
And then organic.
I know.
So what got you through that moment, and how did you get that faith?
Well, first of all, we did get ourselves we built ourselves I call it a hot dog cart because that's what it would remind you of. It was like 15 feet, and we had it built. Mm. And so Reverend Michael Beckwith would allow us to bring this cart on the grounds of Agape when they were in Culver City. And we would serve our wild rice tacos and all this kind of stuff. And it got to the place that we had block-long lines. We knew that, people were liking it, even though there was no animal products. And so when we saw this restaurant, the doors to this restaurant, we already had this cart. We decided, why not? Let's just go indoors.
Yeah, so you knew you had a community behind you.
Exactly. Nice. So it took us 4 years to get it together, but we did that. But I have to tell you the story about Ron and his whole organic thing. While we had the cart, I used to make these horrible oatmeal cookies. I was just learning how to cook, really. Yeah. And I'd make these oatmeal cookies, and back then they were just hideous. But he only wanted to use organic products. Well, I'm out of organic oats. Can you just run to the store and give me some oats? Yeah. And he goes, well, are they selling organic oats over there? I said, dude, can you just give me some oats in that blue round box with that man? He said, if they're not organic, I'm not going to buy those. Yeah. He rode all the way out to Nature's Best. Was it Nature's? Anyway, Nature Mart. It was right by Griffith Park, and he rode over to Nature Mart. They had bulk bins, and he got me a big bag of organic rolled oats. And so I never tried that with him ever again. I knew he was serious about organic.
And that's been the secret to the food. And
yes.
You talked about food combining.
Yes.
Could you explain the importance of organic and food combining when it comes to our health?
Well, right now we have to be so careful because I don't know about you all, but I just don't trust all of these manufacturers and all these people that's selling food and all of that kind of stuff. People are playing some really nasty tricks with our health because of greed. And so, yeah, food combining is really important. It's like, I never knew that there were different types of fruit. Like, I didn't know that there was a sweet, a subacid, an acid, and then melons. I didn't realize that they had all those categories. I didn't realize that, huh?
I'm learning right now.
Okay, I did not realize that sweet fruit and subacid fruit, banana, apple, that's a good combination. Or apple, orange, that's still okay. But banana, orange, not a good combination. Melons should always be eaten alone, on an empty. Fruit should be eaten on an empty stomach. It's only in the gut for 45 minutes at the most, and that's sweet fruit. Usually your subacid and acid fruit, if you've got an empty stomach, it's in and out within 20, 30 minutes. Okay? So what we do is we eat the fruit, and then we turn around and eat the meat and the potatoes and everything else and wonder why we're bloated and we're miserable. That's why.
Wow.
Knowledge is power. I began to learn and understand. Take your time and learn what you're doing so that you get it right.
How long did it take to incorporate this into your daily sort of mindset?
You know, when you're excited, when you learn something new and it works, man, you want to tell everybody. You become annoying, actually, because I've got this knowledge I want you to know. But it didn't really take long, but I'm still learning. And I'm open to learn. I love that part of the human experience, that discovery part, all that good stuff that you learn and you can share with others. I share my experiences with others. I feel like that is how the light beams through me, is by being able to now give back. Because I know that there are a lot of people. We go through all kind of stuff. It's just part of the journey. I don't stay stuck in it. I know how to move away from it. You know what? 5 minutes ago, doesn't even exist. 15 minutes from now, ain't real either. The only time that we truly have is right here, right now. And rather than blowing off my moments, my daughter said to me the other day, she goes, I am so stressed out right now, Mom. I am just so stressed out. And I said, and what can you do right now about any of that that's stressing you? What can you do about it right this minute? She said, nothing. I was like, girl, don't blow off them moments, baby. This is guaranteed time to you. Enjoy your now.
Mm-hmm. But you're also 73 and look like this. So what does your routine look like? You wake up?
Well, I don't know if y'all have, but I just did a piece on Tamron Hall, and I talked about my busted knee.
Oh, yeah. A lesson learned.
But normally, since that Griffith Park episode, I knew that movement was extremely important and that I would incorporate that in my life, and I would never stop that. I watched my mother. If my mother got in my bathtub right now, she would never be able to get out. She would have needed that necklace and would have been calling an ambulance to come and get her out the tub. She just didn't have the strength. And I understood the importance of core strength early. And that's what I really focused a lot on, core strength. But just being able to move became so vital in my journey. And so prior to busting the knee, And if you guys probably don't know what happened. Okay, so I'm at the gym. I'm really acting a fool. I'm showing out at the gym. I'm 73 years old. I'm the oldest woman in the gym. So I'm showing off. I do a 45-minute spin. Then I go, my ego tells me to go get on the treadmill, which I hadn't been on in like 2 or 3 years. So I go get on the treadmill. And there's a girl walking. That's what I should have been doing. I should have joined her. But no, I turned it up to 7, and I sprint. Because I used to do an 8-minute mile after the spin class. I'd spin for 45 minutes and then go jump on that treadmill and do an 8-minute mile, no big deal. I see my trainer come through the door, I go in the training room, I'm showing out so hard, he can't even train me. He's just like, you are really annoying me today. You are really showing out today. I get to the restaurant, and I see a spider web, and I bend down to get the spider web, and the right knee cracks 3 times.
I'll let you know.
Crack, crack, crack. That was 2 days before my 73rd birthday. My birthday is December 7th, so that was December 5th. I'm just now getting back. So basically, the lesson in that was to stay in your lane. I don't work out for everybody else. I work out for me. It is called practicing self-love and self-care. It is really not so loving if you're going to show out, step out of your lane, and then hurt yourself. Yeah.
And you have to continue to remind yourself that all the time.
Definitely. I mean, because you're constantly feeding an ego. Yeah. And sometimes you just kind of need that ego to leave you alone. You need to calm it down. Because I really did hurt myself. It could have been worse than that. Knees are very debilitating when you hurt them. It's no joke. When you can't get down on the floor, I get down on the floor all the time. I get up, I don't even use hands to get up. But when that knee was hurt, I felt, I'm 70, what it's supposed to do. Because
so what do you look for in your fitness now when you look at
well, I still love a lot of movement. I love doing outdoor workouts, going running up hills. I love running hills. I absolutely love it. I can still do it, but I like. My preference is to work out super early, but I also am the main cook at Stuff I Eat, and that has to be done early. So either I'm going to do my workout at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then get to the restaurant, or I'm going to do it afterwards. So that just depends on where I am during the day. But movement is extremely important in my life.
And so is the commitment at Stuff I Eat.
Yes.
How has that fueled your purpose feeding the community?
The beautiful thing about Stuff I Eat is that we were the first vegan restaurant in that community, and it was pretty much a desert, and to bring organic food. I don't feed my customers out of boxes and bags and that sort of thing. And I'm extremely careful because we have processed food. But we have processed food. Some processed foods has 2 ingredients, 3 ingredients. Okay, I got that. I can't handle the processed foods that have 2 and 3 paragraphs of words that I can't pronounce. Now that's a challenge for me. Yeah. So what we created was a menu that's pretty much a transitional type menu. So check this out. I have a burrito. I have a lava burrito. I have quesadilla. I have a Kilimanjaro quesadilla. I've got tacos. And all of those things normally consist of rice, beans, and tofu. So that's several dishes that I'm using rice, beans, and tofu. When we were in Inglewood, people will walk in and if they don't see chicken on the menu, they try to walk out. Well, I'd chase them and make them come back in, and I'd share a taco with them, and they became customers. Also, we had to put a soul food platter on there. Now, that's the one thing that Stuff I Eat sells that I find to be a bit gluttonous. I can't even eat my own soul food platter now. It's just a bit too much food. First of all, soul food platter, you got
kind of fuel you.
Well, it's just to give black-eyed peas, mac and cheese, yams, barbecue tofu or barbecue jackfruit, and what's that other thing I'm trying to think of? The cornbread? Did I say that? Anyway, no, listen. You got potato salad and coleslaw. Look, normally with a soul food platter, you're either going to eat the potato salad or the coleslaw. I don't know what made us put both potato salad and coleslaw on your plate, but that's too much food. But anyway, people love it, so it's a big seller, but it's pretty gluttonous. But we came up with a very, very simple menu. Rice, beans, and tofu, and then the soul food platter. The burgers, I make by hand. They're walnut burgers. So I've only got like about 3 or 4 ingredients in there. That's it. And I pat them out with these hands here.
And when you hear from the community that you're
They love it.
when you're changing their health, though, and you're changing the health of their children and families, what does that do for you, and how does that kind of fuel you?
Well, it's just to give back.
Mm-hmm.
It does what it's supposed to do. Because every decision each and every one of us makes on this planet, there's a consequence for said decision, whether it be positive or negative.
And well, one of the positive one for you was getting on social media. And tell me a little bit about that. I think we've all had the parent that we tried to get on social media to do something on the computer, but you got on and you thrived.
Well, my daughter finally told me. I was 62 years old when I got my email address, and the reason I know that, I can remember that, is because my email address is rawchick62@yahoo. And then young people say, Yahoo? You still on Yahoo? I'm like, I was 62, now I'm 73. Shut up. But yes, I know. My daughter said to me, you're gonna have to build this Instagram page. I can't do this for you. You're gonna have to take pictures of your food. So that's how I started. I started making really pretty plates, and I love the cashew nut.
Oh yeah,
you remember? Yes, I fell in love with the cashew nut, raw cashews, because you could just do so many different things with the cashew nut.
Cashew on cashews.
Okay, cashew on cashews. That's the name of the book, Amazon. But I just started taking lots of really pretty pictures, and I had an iPhone. What they had at first, a 4 or 3 or something. Anyway, but it took really pretty pictures, and I started posting my pictures. And 1 or 2 people would like them. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I think people just start asking you to do interviews like this, and then all of a sudden somebody else recognizes you, and it just grows from there. Guess where I am now? On Instagram.
Where?
I'm at 475.
Wow. You're like 500,000 people.
I can't even believe that. I'm so And it's getting it's really growing now, because they know I'm 73, almost 74. And youngsters love to look at older people and be like, oh, wow, what's she doing?
And you're on TikTok too, right?
TikTok is going nuts too. Yeah.
And so you just embrace it all.
Yeah.
I think that's that is the way we all want to see ourselves, and I think that's why you're so compelling. What is your advice for longevity? For those of us who are saying, what is the 1 or 2 things we can do right now for this sort of long life that's vital?
Well, I'm going to tell you what's more important to me than longevity. Quality. Quality is far more important to me. I mean, there are people that are here to be 95 years old laying flat with their back. They can't do nothing for themselves. You got to depend on everybody else to do it for them. And that's not me bad-mouthing anybody that has their own challenges in life that cause something like that. But I prefer to be able to be up if I want to live by myself. If I want to go down on the floor, can I get back up? I prefer a good quality of life. Therefore, I have to practice self-love and self-care. Staying in my lane at the gym, making sure that I understand what's important to nourish the human species. I understand what I need to nourish myself. Make sure that my thoughts are clean. Get some meditation in. And make sure that you understand your oneness with the whole. What we are on this planet. That intelligence that created all of this. And so, how can we separate ourselves from it or the whole? We cannot. We're one with it. And that, I mean, for me, wow, it just makes life, it makes life simpler.
I love that. I think we got a little bit of time for Q&A. Do anyone have any questions?
You look so familiar. Yes.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for this. This is amazing. What do you eat in a typical day?
Wow, you would ask me that. I'm actually doing the Master Cleanse right now. You guys familiar with the Master Cleanse? I'm on day 2 of the Master Cleanse, but generally I do it juicing. That's like, cause I'm at work with a big industrial juicer, and as I'm juicing, I can just knock myself out. I love green drinks, they're my favorite. So I'm juicing. You guys, I will make a handful of nuts a meal. If I go over to my manager's house, Vegan Chef Chris Tuckett, if I go over there, I'm gonna find something to nibble on because I don't have a bunch of stuff at home, and I'm so over the food I make at the restaurant. It just sometimes is challenging for me to find something that I want to put in my mouth. But as long as I'm getting the nutrients, that's the most important part. Is whatever it is I'm ingesting, can I get something from it? That's what's more important to me than anything, especially at age 73. So I'm not wild about a bunch of overcooked food. Any amount of heat that is changing the molecular structure of that food that I'm about to ingest, I'm not real crazy about that. So I love more life than death in terms of eating. Yeah.
With your skin being your largest organ, what are you putting on or not putting on your skin?
I do believe in exfoliating. When I discovered that, I was just in heaven. So I do exfoliate. But I'm real simple with things that I put on my skin. I have a product that I sell, Sea Moss Company, Earth and Sea Wellness, and the lady that I'm in business with, we make all types of, what do you call that stuff? It's face cream.
Yeah, serum.
I'm having a brain. I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, Earth and Sea Wellness, you'll see the products that we sell there. But I use a lot of olive oil, shea butter. That's what shea butters. I'm not too perfumey, and I don't really go to Macy's or Nordstrom's and buy a bunch of chemically laced. It's unnecessary. So I just told you, shea butters, I usually use either that or olive oil, even under my makeup. Am I shining? Anyway. But yeah, I do. I keep it super simple and clean. Yes.
I have two questions. First one is your daughter vegan also?
My daughter, I don't quite know for sure. She's gone back and forth. So she says that she is. But I'm not quite sure about that.
And also, I remember you were involved with the show Peel, which was a vegan competition show.
Yes.
How did that come about, and do you have any interest or desire to do entertainment in the future?
I would love to, I'd love to do some entertainment, especially before I'm 90. So, you know, if anybody wants to give me my own show, I would love to do that.
Next up.
You know, but Peeled was, they got in touch with me. And that's how I met my manager, vegan chef Chris Tucker. He was actually one of the judges on Peeled. And yeah, you know what I would have done with Peel though? I probably would have made Peel just a hair different from some of them other cook shows. We would have done something, I don't know, we would have done something just a little different.
I think that's gotta be what you're doing next, the cooking show.
I don't want to do a cooking show.
No cooking show?
Oh, but I am going to do a cooking show. I am. Chef Chris and I are going to do a cooking show. And we already have a name for it.
Well, coming up.
It's called Hot or Not. So he'll be making the hot version of my raw version. Isn't that cool?
That's so cute.
Hot or not. So you'll still be able to, I love that. Okay, bowl of chili. I'll probably be using walnuts for my beans, and he'll be using beans for his beans. So it's hot or not. Y'all got it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that
When is that
pretty
coming?
soon.
Okay, we're watching for it.
Soon. Yes, I will definitely let you know. Just, you know, Chef Babette on Instagram, on TikTok, all them. But yeah, I'll let you know. But anyway, yeah, so that's the cooking show. We got that out the way.
Well, I want to thank you for being here. I want to ask you a final question.
What's that?
What is your advice for someone who wants to say at the end they have lived a life that was wandered well?
What was that question again?
What is your advice for someone that wants to say they've lived a life that was wandered well?
Wandered well. Wow, I've never heard any kind of question like that before in my whole journey. Wandered well. You know what? My advice to anyone living this human journey is to stay current. Don't find yourself being lost in something that happened before or something that may happen later. But stay present and embrace your moments. And truly, don't just say you love you. Truly love you and appreciate the gift of life.
Thank you. On that note, Chef Babette, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Where can we find you on social media? Instagram, TikTok?
Yeah,
Chef Babette?
Chef Babette. And then on Meta took my Facebook page, Chef Babette, but I do have Babette Davis on Facebook. But Instagram and TikTok is good.
Amazing. And then this episode will be out soon, and you can find us at wanderwellliving.com. Thank you guys.